Mr. Big T while he was driving to the lake house. So we did a pretty good job. I was happy about the show. Talked up Houston, talked up Cleveland, San Francisco bats. Our boy, Mr. Duggart, Hacksaw Duggart, got it done for us, Big T. And we move on to the next day. It was a good. There we go. Ho! We gotta get that. I gotta get that picture behind me because he is a hero.
Yeah, he is.
I was not fortunate enough to have too many Giants yesterday, but I had Orioles, right? So I got I cashed, JSU, as they say, a min cash isn't the end of the world, even though I know you don't love a min cash. We take it, right, Big T? Min cashes aren't the end of the world, correct?
Some nights min cashes are good. If you get off to a little slower start, I mean, sometimes min cashes feel just as good as titles. You don't start the night trying to get a min cash, but sometimes you end the night trying to get a min cash.
Yeah, and you'll take those when they happen. But I'm assuming you guys had some pretty good nights overall. I saw Big T's name next to mine towards the end, and I know we were on the PGA show rooting everything home. Big T, what do you think of the golf right now so far? I mean, it's early, right? We talked about it on Thursdays. Yeah. It's all about surviving. Let's not have a 10 over, right? That's all we're looking for on day one, correct?
I probably sweat Thursdays less than anybody or close to anybody. I just really don't worry about it. Like, yeah, you want your guys to start good. I'm not saying you don't want them to start good. Of course you do, but I don't know. I really – if my guys struggle, I don't really worry either. I don't know. Friday afternoon is when I start looking at it more.
Yep, I'm with you. JSU, how about you? Are you the same way with the PGA stuff, and have you been sweating the PGA at all?
Yeah, no, I don't sweat until like it gets later in the day on Friday for the cut. Like that's when I'll start to sweat. When my golfer's like, he's on the back nine, he's got 9 holes left, and we're right at the cut line here. That's when I'll start to start sweating my golf. But Thursday, I don't even pay attention on Thursday.
All right. Yep. No need to pay attention on Thursday too much. And we got MLB to pay attention to, right? We have some NBA Showdown tonight. I mean, we still have DFS. It's not a day where there's just nothing going on. We'll have JSU's cores later. I'm sure we'll have Big T's cores later as well. They won't be on the premium show but they're here right now giving you guys the goods. Big T, before we want to talk some baseball, I mean, is there anything you want to talk about? Did you beat hooping some cornhole at the lake house? Do you want to talk some NBA with what's going to happen with the Bucks tonight? I mean, where do you want to go before we get started?
I mean, we can start with those 2 NBA games last night because I can't believe it. I mean, both of those games stunned me. I mean, Philadelphia was up like 25 when I was eating dinner, somehow blew the game, and maybe just their entire team if they can't close this series out. And then Utah playing a Clippers team without Kawhi Leonard just gets embarrassed, really. I mean, the Clippers were better the entire night. Incredible, really. Like, it was stunning. I never dreamed the Clippers could beat Utah without Kawhi Leonard. And not only did they beat them, they handled them, really. The score might not show how much they dominated them. Crazy, crazy stuff in the NBA. And I'm looking forward to the end of the season because we got some good storylines, some teams popping up that maybe we didn't think. I don't know. I kind of like watching the Clippers without Kawhi. See if Paul George can just take the team on his back and these other guys. I love stuff like that. Everyone's made fun of Paul George forever, me included, with his playoff performances. He was awesome last night, and it's fun to watch a guy have to step up like that. So I'm excited. And tonight, more of the same. Can Durant do it again? I mean, that game the other night was one of the best games you'll ever see with the season on the line. And I don't know if he can do it again. But we're starting to see these teams like Philadelphia, Philly. Who else am I thinking? Utah, and no, who's the? God, I'm drawing a blank.
Milwaukee Nets.
Yeah, Milwaukee. Like basically the 3 teams that should have won the last game to solidify the series. They got to take that. I mean, they had their back broken. Can they get off the mat and beat them? Because, I mean, let's be honest. These 3 teams still should win the series if the injuries stay the way they are. Can they get off the mat, though, and get it done? And I'm not sure they can. We'll see tonight. Milwaukee, I mean, that's a tough loss the other night. When Kyrie goes down, Harden's playing as a decoy, basically. And I don't know. I don't know if they can get off the mat. And that's another story. I mean, Harden 35% owned the other night. Absolutely outrageous to me. And I hope he's that high owned again tonight because that is a nice little edge.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see myself playing Harden. Someone in the chat was talking about playing Harden the other day, and I said I just could not imagine it. Like, just slam KD in there.
You
That's the way to
pop
go
in that
about
chat.
it.
I remember that because me and Mangone agree on things these days.
Yeah, it's just take the free square with KD, right? Of course, you didn't have to captain him,
KD
right?
I mean, Mangone agreeing with the guy who's won like $2 million in DFS the last 3 months. Wow, that's a
He's
shocker
a smart
right
man.
now.
I mean, he's got good takes.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
seriously,
got $2 million taste. That's what I got there, JSU. But
so the best part about the Harden thing too is like the people who think, oh, he played like 30 something minutes, so he's good to go.
He played 45 minutes.
But here's my point: is after 45 minutes, you think he's going to actually feel better for this next game? I mean, the dude wasn't healthy coming into this game. There's no way after 45 minutes of NBA basketball, first game back, may I add, from an injury that was for sure somewhat serious that held him out of multiple playoff games, he's not going to feel much better, right? He's probably going to feel the same. Maybe he feels a little worse. I mean, who knows, obviously, but like, there's no way he feels better. And on top of it, he was not normal James Harden. He was standing at the top of the key. He was passing the ball. He was shooting threes, but like he was not being aggressive, driving to the hoop. I'm struggling to remember multiple possessions where he just like put his head down and drove hard to the rim. I don't think he can right now. I think the hamstring is still a concern to the point where he is worried about doing certain things that could put his hamstring in real danger of, pulling or whatever and having to sit out again. So Harden is definitely a pass for me again today. Well, that's a for sure. And I think he'll be 30% again, Tony. People are going to go right back to
him. I mean,
him.
if he was the other day, he's definitely going to be tonight after the minutes. And I thought it was wild that the Nets basically played him knowing he was going to be a decoy. They just basically said, go out there, handle the ball a little bit, play some post defense, basically go out there and just don't get hurt again. Just be out there. And you know what? The most insane part? It worked because Milwaukee wasted Drew Holiday on him. They tried to post him up, which is the only thing he can do on defense. They basically played right into what they freaking wanted him to do, and it was wild to me. I mean, why would you not get him in one-on-one coverage somewhere besides the post? The post is the only place he can defend somebody. He's actually good at defending in the post.
Tony, that video where he's waving Jeff Green or whoever off, like, dude, don't help me right now. Yeah. This is the one place I don't need help. Like, you're right.
As a guy that myself too, because this is in no way comparing me to anything about James Harden, but I'm slow-footed, not good on D. I've always been, even when I was in my prime of basketball. I can guard most people in the post, though. You get my slow feet on the perimeter, probably not going to be able to guard people like JSU, faster people, Mangone, faster people. You get me in the post, though, I'm going to be able to guard almost anybody, even people way better than me. I'll be able to guard in the post because my slow foot speed doesn't matter. Look at Rudy Gobert, best defensive player this year. He won Defensive Player of the Year. The Clippers last night said, okay, Rudy, what are you going to do up top when we get you in a little one-on-one at the top on the island? Didn't work out for Rudy, I'll tell you that much. So that was good coaching from Mr. Ty Lue, who we've crushed a little bit over the years. Ty Lue is coaching. He made some great moves. I'll give him credit where he deserves it.
The one play where Terrence Mann just sticks out in my head towards the
end. That was
end.
last night when we were on the show.
About.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, he was flexing after.
Of course he was
doing
flexing after
stuff.
He hammered it on him.
Yeah, he was feeling himself out. The whole team was feeling Terrence Mann after that.
I was feeling him too. I was staring at the TV, getting in there, letting him know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get on the chat.
That's when you rostered Terrence Mann. Everyone who rostered Terrence Mann was flexing after that play. Like, we were all doing it.
Yeah.
JC, real quick, I got to get on this chatter, Dave Kinder, right? He said to Big T, you can't guard title anywhere, Big T. I'll tell you this. I can tell you a no doubt matter of fact, Title would never make a bet against Big T saying, let's play post-up basketball, right?
Title put in a rule, you need 3 dribbles, which I accepted. We're already running it back with his same stupid rules, but he knows what'll happen if we go down low. He's a little fella. And that's not even the point anyways. I love how he brings this in. I'm freaking fat. I'm old. I clarified when this started. Even when I was in shape, I said, "So what was the dude's name? Whatever it is, shut your mouth, whoever it was."
Yeah, Dave Kidder. We don't even care what your name is. Actually,
we don't even care what your name is, Dave.
Yeah.
After you say his name, you're like, I don't even care what your name is, Dave. Dave, get home, Dave. All right, we just
get out of
own
here,
Dave.
So,
but the other thing too we need to discuss is the Hawks game with the absolute collapse by Philadelphia. Another game where it's like a tale of two halves. The last two games to me were this way. If you watch the first half, you could have closed your eyes and been like, this is going to be a 40-point blowout by the end of the second half. And then what the hell happened to Philly in the second halves of these games? I mean, it's wild. Tobias Harris was like a no-show. Ben Simmons couldn't make a free throw. Shocker again, Philadelphia fans. 4 for 14 from the free throw line. Like, Joel Embiid can only do so much for this team at the end. They need Tobias Harris to do something. I mean, the dude scored like 4 points. Is that even real?
This is what happens when you don't have dudes that can get you a bucket. Like, those 5-minute droughts are brutal, man. Like, that's the one thing that I think me and Tony definitely have been like arm in arm about. It's like, that's why Kyrie's so great in the postseason. Like, as someone that can't get a bucket when they need it, like in real life, like I know how valuable it is, man. I mean,
there's only one guy in the world that's probably better than Kyrie at that point, and that's Durant on his own team. I mean, Durant honestly might not even be better than Kyrie, just as far as, if I want one bucket, I mean, Durant's probably better. I won't say that just because he's amazing. But point being, Kyrie is literally as elite as you could possibly be at getting offense.
And that kind of goes back.
You're not putting him on the island. Like, you're not wanting him on the island against anybody. I don't care who it is.
No one wants to face Kyrie on an island by themselves. I'll throw in, I think that Steph Curry on an island is extremely hard to handle as well, just because he can literally shoot from anywhere on the court, and his little shake is so good. Like, it's just,
he's still better
so
like
deceptive.
Off screens and stuff though too. Like he's not.
He is.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not.
Kyrie's better one-on-one.
Yeah.
You're right. Kyrie's better than him. I'm just saying I wouldn't want to guard him on an island either. I'm going to put him. No. I'm putting him in that category because he is really tough to stop.
I mean, he's incredible too, for sure.
Yeah. You just say unlimited dribbles.
We got someone saying in the chat that, is this an NBA show or MLB show? He might be.
This is my chance. This is my Cody H. Get out of here with that. We don't want that crap. This is a DFS show, and we'll talk sports whenever we want. All right, we'll get to winners when we want to get to winners.
But Jason,
we pick baseball winners every day. That's what we do.
Maybe Cody H is a new guy, right? So maybe we just tell him, hey, at the start of the show, we talk about whatever we want for the first 15 minutes, right? And then we get into the winners. So, and if you say it, then we're going to keep talking about it, right? So,
and if you're watching this show, you should be a fan of making money in sports, not of baseball or what. I mean, that's not what we do.
Yeah, if you are a fan of baseball, go listen to the spin rate talk, right? The spin rate talk from DC, that you can get that. Yeah. It's always good stuff. We have a video out from JT Hayes today. Go listen to that video. It's the Bang Bang Plays. He talks about a lot of great baseball stuff. Listen to that and then come back over. We'll be at baseball by the time you get there. Before we kind of dive in and talk about that, I want to say, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Helps us out a ton.
The Mavs are getting rid of Carlisle? Is that what the chat's saying? Yeah. Wow. What in the why would you get rid of Carlisle?
I don't think they're getting done. I don't think that's the case. I think, you know what it is? It's probably all those issues with Harlow, what's his name? Harlow, whatever his name is, and Donnie Nelson, the guys in the front office. Yeah, this is not good. So Carlisle led the Mavericks. He's informed Mavs owner Mark Cuban that he won't be returning. So actually, Carlisle said, I'm not returning. It was not the Mavericks.
So Carlisle got rid of himself? He said, I'm out?
Yes, he said, I am out.
You're an NBA team and you need a coach. Go get him.
Picking that phone up.
Yeah, go get him right now.
As a Boston Celtics fan, I hope Rick Carlisle gets a call, right? That'd be fine for me. I'd be happy with that.
You're turning on your boy? Are you turning on him?
On who?
On the Celtics.
Boston needs a coach.
No, so Stevens is not a coach anymore. He's the front office guy. Tony.
Yeah, I thought he was both. He's not coaching?
No. So I thought the same thing when it first happened, Tony. I thought he was doing both. I'm pretty sure he is just now running everything at the top. And if I'm wrong, someone else let me know.
I think he's still the coach. I think
JSU, am I correct on that?
I think Mangone's right. No, I think he's right.
I think you're both wrong.
No,
See,
I think
I feel very certain that you both are wrong.
See, I thought that, Tony, and then I got
I'm feeling certain that I'm right
not
right
saying
now,
I'm 100% for sure, but I'm pretty sure
you were just giving Mango props for always being on your side. I'm gonna say right now, me and Mango are locked arm in arm right now. So someone's got to be wrong. One of you two is wrong.
I think I might be right on this one. I could be wrong. Who knows? I mean,
maybe I can jump on Tony's side just so we're arm in arm, so that way it's just correct, you know.
So
I want to know from the biggest Bucks backer over here who loves Giannis Antetokounmpo, Mr. Big T. How are you feeling about this game? I mean, are they winning tonight? Because I feel like the trajectory of all three of these series, to me, they're going 7 games.
Real quick,
like
Mangone's right. Mangone's right. The whole chat said it. Mangone's right.
I knew it.
Always right.
I knew it. See, I was on Mangone's side.
Coach, they should definitely get Carlisle.
All right, Mr. Bucksbacker, what are we doing tonight?
Who was that did it? Oh, it was Mangone that day. I'll bet you everything. I'll bet you my net worth on it. That's what you're supposed to go with.
I'm shocked Mangone wasn't that confident. He was throwing those bets out. That was what I wanted to make sure. All these series going 7 games.
Oh man, so
Mr. B Davis in the chat, our boy B Davis, who's always in the Discord chat, he said it, and I agree with him. I feel like all these series are going to go 7 games.
So I feel like they should go 7 because the better teams all lost the last game. But man, some of their backs have to. I mean, Utah. Their back has to be close to broken. I mean, they were sitting so good, and then they lose 2 in a row, and Kawhi gets injured, and they still lose the next game at home. I mean, that's tough to come back from, especially for a team that doesn't have a ton of success in the postseason. And Philly, I mean, Philly has to have a lot of – I don't know. Basically, my point is all the teams that are the better team, they're on the mat, man. I'm anxious to see if they can get up. I highly doubt all 3 of them win. One of them is going to get put down to a short death here, I think.
Yeah. Also, the news on the Mavericks. Apparently, Luka likes the assistant coach, so we'll have to see if it's like a hire from within.
Really? Who's the assistant?
I don't know. Some guy. I don't even know who it is. I think. I don't know. I saw the tweet. It's gone now, but it's there somewhere within my notifications. But yeah, we'll have to see how the Bucks and Nets game goes. It should be a fun time, and we'll have showdown content for you. Any final thoughts, JSU?
Mangone. So yeah, we got this guy, Kevin Falik, in the chat. Kevin, I don't know who Kevin Falik is, but if he has any relations to this guy, K Falik, who yesterday I was telling about Ivica Zubac being one of the worst plays on the slate. And I kept imploring to him about how bad of a play Zubac was, and he wouldn't listen to me. And I just want to know if you guys are cousins or something, let me know. I'm here for you, K Falik, because K Falik was trying to help me out with soccer. Let me help you out with some damn Clippers, all right? I told you to play those guards and not play the shitty center, and Zubac sucked. JSU was right again. That's right. JSU AirPod. Damn right.
All right. JSU AirPods has entered the chat, but we can dive in. We can talk some MLB now. And I think it's going to be a really, really quick pitcher, right? I don't think it's going to be too much to say.
I mean, Simon is going to be very disappointed at your internet connection here, Mangone.
I mean, the one hole in. I think it's a really simple thing to get your
thoughts. Did not want to plug
the
Ethernet cord in coming into the show. He was arguing with producer Simon, and now he's freezing up. I mean, Simon hates to see it, Mangone.
Producer Simon just owned Travis Mangone.
I mean, we got a lot of freezing going on here. I mean, Simon definitely gets the victory in this argument. Without a doubt. It's still breaking up. I mean, Simon, you get the dub. I mean, he can't even come back and voice his opinion because he's breaking up on you.
Yep, and we don't even know what question you're trying to form. Are we transitioning over to baseball?
Yes.
You're still choppy.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Are we good?
Yes, that's better.
All right. So can we talk baseball? Can we talk these starting pitchers? And what I was getting at was I said, hey, Big T, I think it's a really easy day at pitcher. Normally it takes a while. I don't think it's going to take long. So break it down for me really fast. I think it's really, really easy.
So I don't necessarily think it's quite as easy. I mean, just looking, yeah, there's some guys you can just totally throw out. I mean, basically all the guys towards the bottom as I'm looking at the pricing you can throw out. And then some of the good guys like Woodruff is at Coors. I mean, you're more than likely not going to play him. Never going to really play Hendricks. So you work your way up, and yeah, I mean, I think Musgrove versus Cincinnati, park downshift for I always like the park downshift for a team like Cincinnati going to a tough park like San Diego. Musgrove's been very good. His price point is more than fair, which we like to see. I mean, down at 8,900. And then you got Ohtani, who on DK is a very good, but for some reason on FanDuel, I mean, the dude is like 11K or something on FanDuel, which is, I mean, pretty crazy. And I never complain about pricing on FanDuel because you can play whoever you want for the most part. But man, it's weird seeing Ohtani at 11K. That's up in there for him. But those are clearly the two guys at the top for me that I think check out the most. For whatever reason, I always want to play Dylan Cease. I know this matchup is terrible tonight. These are some of the field plays that I think I get right sometimes that help me in tournaments. This dude has been so good. I don't really ever want to play pitchers against Houston, so I'm still feeling it out a little bit. It's definitely a scary spot because Houston obviously has a great offense up and down. They don't strike out a ton. But I've seen Dylan Cease show us a ceiling a bunch this year. He's got, 4 or 5 games above 30. He's got a 40 in there. He's got a 22 and a 36 the last 2 games. He's got a ceiling, and he's going to be completely unowned. So I'm playing my normal 3 or 4 teams on both sites like I do every day. I might take a stab on a Dylan Cease or 2 to go with those guys.
All right. Well, I don't like Dylan Cease too much today. I'm curious to see what JSU thinks about taking a stab on someone like Dylan Cease. I know I'm not playing Woodruff in Coors at all. It's a rough slate for the pitchers, but I think that Ohtani's definitely going to be the chalk, and I'm going to eat the chalk, I think, JSU. What about you?
Yeah, so I definitely like Ohtani as my favorite pitcher against Detroit. 8,100 just seems a little too cheap in a good matchup. I don't mind Joe Musgrove, but do prefer Ohtani with the small savings as well. Another guy I do kind of like is Rich Hill in Seattle. I just feel like Seattle's one of those teams where they can throw out a ton of lefties and good ballpark. Rich Hill does have big strikeout upside as well. So I think he's another guy that I'll look at. I know he's a little more expensive than Ohtani and Musgrove, but hopefully that'll just keep him a little lower owned than both those guys. Not that he won't be owned. He's going to get ownership, but he won't be as high as Musgrove and Ohtani. And then after those guys, I mean, we can obviously get down into like playing a guy like Kyle Hendricks or something like that, but I just can't play him over Ohtani, Rich Hill, even Musgrove if I had to, pick. So Kyle Hendricks and Stroman, like they fall out for me because even though I think they're in decent spots here, I just prefer those other 3 pitchers more. But my top 2 are definitely going to be Ohtani, and I think Rich Hill would be my 1-2 pairing. And then, I mean, we can go a little lower here, but like I keep playing Marquez, and I know it's in Coors. I know the conditions are not very great for pitching, but the dude is $5,500, and the matchup is not that hard. The park is an issue. Obviously, it's hot there, so the heat's an issue. But this dude in Coors has actually pitched really well. And I know you can say, well, it hasn't been this hot maybe that for most of the starts he's had, but still against Oakland, 24.5 fantasy points, against Texas, in Colorado, 25, Arizona, 31, Cincinnati, 18, San Francisco, he got crushed, and then Philly, he handled for 20. So like The guy has upside, and he's $5,500. I mean, I'm definitely going to take a shot with him against a team like Milwaukee, who has been struggling. I can't help myself. I think he's a really good pitcher, and I'll bet on his upside, his strikeout upside.
Big T, what about you? Will you bet on Rich Hill's strikeout upside here in this spot?
So I'm one of the original Rich Hill like truthers. I love his stuff, but this is where I got to get JSU off of him because I've played him the last couple. They just pull this dude so damn quick every time. Like 50 pitches 2 games ago, I think like 70 the next game. Like it is, and these are games he was rolling. Like he wasn't even remotely. And it's just brutal when you play this guy in that. I love the matchup. I love the K upside. Man, he just doesn't go deep enough. They'll just pull him randomly so early that I just don't think and he's not cheap is the issue too. Like he's kind of up there where you're just not going to get enough pitches from him, I don't think. But if he somehow does, he could break the slate, which is the good thing. I don't think it's totally out of the realm of possibility he does, but man, I don't think I can do it just because of how little the pitches have been. I kind of like some other guys too, just as he was talking about, looking through it, like Urquidy. I keep playing pitchers against the White Sox, and for the most part, it's worked. I mean, they strike out or they score a bunch of runs. So in tournaments, it doesn't really matter. Like if they blow you up, you lose. That's fine. We talk about it all the time. But when they have games where they can't hit and strike out a bunch, this guy's shown that he can get some K upside. I see my man Stevie Boyden in the chat talking about him. I like him, and he's shown some upside too. For whatever reason, Detroit just scares me. I don't think I like Ohtani as much as other people do. Detroit always freaking hits the ball, and I get worried about Ohtani, especially when he's chalky. He has the tendency to walk people. I don't know. I just don't trust him, especially as chalk.
I will say Detroit is one of those pesky teams. You're right about that. They are kind of annoying at times, but still Ohtani's talent alone is just, it's so good, and there's strikeouts to be had. So what about Marquez? No one taled about Marquez. I mean, I talked about him.
I'm never playing a pitcher in Coors. I'm just
not even like
at 5,500
or something.
Is that what he is? 5,500?
He's $5,500. This is a good pitcher. I mean, I know the park's not ideal and it's hot, but I don't know. He's got tons of upside.
I'm in with you. I'm in with JSU. I'm in there.
There we go.
5,500 sold me. I didn't realize he was that cheap. So
Tony, could you just stack like both pitchers and hope it somehow is like a low scoring Coors game? Because it's Woodruff, right? It's Woodruff pitching. It's not.
I definitely think you could. I mean, I've seen crazier things. My only problem with Woodruff is he's not the cheap price tag that Marquez is, but you could. I don't love pitcher tonight. That's why when you came on and said too obvious, I think there is too obvious for cash games. I think for sure you just play Musgrove and Ohtani, but I'm not like totally sold on either one of them. I mean, they're not like a lot this year. We've come on this show or the premium show and we've said, I'm playing these 2 guys on all my teams or 3 guys, locking them in. I don't feel that today from these 2 guys. Like I'm not totally in love with these 2. I like them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm going to totally fade these guys either. it's not a slate where I'm just going to lock them in and move on. Put it that way.
I mean, we all can see some of these guys where there is risk, right? I mean, with all these guys, I mean, Ohtani's obviously got risk where, he could walk a bunch of people and be a little erratic at times. And, Detroit, like we said, has been pretty pesky. So wouldn't be shocked. And then, Musgrove, who I've rostered a lot this year and he's been really good, but Cincinnati's, they're a tough team. Like it's not like they're a Milwaukee that, they're a much better team than Milwaukee. And the problem with Woodruff, I agree with Tony, is I don't know if you want to risk like the 10-2 pitcher in the Colorado weather in Coors as opposed to like 5-5 where Marquez could still give up like 3 runs, but if he gets like 7 or 8 strikeouts, like he's fine. Like you don't even have to worry about it. Like, so that's where I kind of lean to like, I'll just take the cheap guy who has upside in Coors over the 10-2 guy.
I will say the nice thing about Woodruff, though, to give him kind of a mark in his direction is, man, he hasn't had a bad game all year. He's been very, very steady on a slate where I don't trust any pitchers. I don't know. Like, he's okay. I don't hate the idea.
Oh God, I was worried about giving one Coors pitcher as one of my favorite pitchers. You're talking me into two Coors pitchers now. No,
I mean, the good thing is these two offenses suck in Coors. Like, both of these teams have been terrible on offense. I don't know. It's not like the best strategy probably because it's still Coors. There's other spots that are better, but I don't hate it. I really like Marquez though.
I think that strategy, if you're making like 3 or 4 teams, I think it's like a third or fourth team build. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like your first main team build playing both Coors pitchers. But I think like if you're playing, like I'm going to have 4 DK teams or 4 teams on DK, like I could see myself on the 4th team maybe testing out like a double Coors pairing for pitcher just to be a little different. Like I could see it.
Could you guys take a shot on a cheaper Charlie Morton at 7.2 against the Cardinals? They're like a righty heavy team, right? So I don't think it's the worst spot, but it's a cheap price tag if you don't want to play a Coors guy like Marquez, right, JSU?
I feel like Charlie Morton, you guys know this because you play every day. You know the guys that you just never get right. When you like him, he just kills you. When you stay away from him, he dominates. Like Charlie Morton is that pitcher for me where I can never pin him down and get him right. I liked him a little in his last start, and he struggled against Miami. I mean, I think the price point is good. 7.2K for Charlie Morton. I mean, he definitely has upside at that price tag. So that definitely doesn't scare me. And I do think if you're making multiple lineups, you have to, I think you put him in play, but he's just not someone that I'm probably going to go to on this slate.
Big T, any interest in Morton here?
Yeah, I like Morton a little, and I like Justin Dunn in that same range in that Seattle park that I always like. I keep playing pitch. So all of a sudden I'm naming off all these damn pitchers that look decent to me. I think this will be a night where I switch pitchers up and kind of lock in on some offense and go that direction. We always talk about it. Some nights we'll lock in pitcher, go spread out a little bit more on offense. I think it might be opposite tonight. Like Justin Dunn in this park, I keep playing pitchers against Tampa. Sometimes they hit you hard, but they strike out a ton too. And Justin Dunn hasn't been that bad. I mean, you look at some of his games, he's 6,700. If we want to stack up like the Toronto side with some Yankees or some Houston or some of these big bats, you play a guy like Marquez and a guy like Dunn or some of these cheap guys, you can make it work. And I'm not totally against it tonight. Atlanta is another team you can kind of throw in with these cheap guys. I'm leaning that direction a little bit tonight.
You hate playing bats in this park. You hate it. Like Seattle
because it's like the worst park ever.
I know. Justin, I mean, you're right. He has had some decent games.
Look at him. I mean, he's got a plenty. I mean, like half of his games, he's got over 15 points.
So I think your best argument actually, too, is look at the games where he struggled. Cleveland, good offense. Dodgers, okay. Houston, okay. Like, I mean, those
now
are
that you
White
say
Sox.
it, too, all his home games, like Baltimore 18, Detroit 23, Texas 23. Granted, all those teams suck, so that helps too that they're in that park. But Tampa Bay doesn't have some incredible offense either. So again, it's not I'm not saying he's foolproof. He could definitely get blown up, but I like the park. I like the matchup. I like that Tampa Bay strikes out. I like the price. I don't love any other pitcher. You could do worse is all I'm saying.
Yeah, you can definitely do worse. We don't have that lineup yet too. And like maybe guys don't really maybe you can play Dunn, and like if the lineup could be a lot worse, right? Maybe people had already stacked up Tampa Bay too, because I think some people like him and some projections like him. So maybe that'll play into your favor as well, not really knowing what the lineup is. And that
people like Tampa Bay.
There's some projections like Tampa a little bit for sure, which
in that park.
Yeah, I think it's just because of how Dunn can blow up, right? You know what I mean? He's either boom bust. It's just how a projection system works, Tony, right? It just kind of sometimes pops up some of those guys' projections because of what Dunn's low range of outcomes can be, and like the ceiling can be so high for those guys, right? That makes sense.
Yep.
All right, let's kind of move on from pitcher. Before we do that, let's give our rankings, and let's hit that like and subscribe on the video, guys. Helps us out a ton. So please do that. We got Big T and JSU here giving you those winners. So we want to get those likes and subscribes up for them and show that you appreciate them. JSU, give me your pitcher rankings.
Yeah, well, first off, Corey Pooler says, where's DC? DC is on the premium show today. So if you want DC's pitcher takes, use RPS code RPS Heater 25 and get 25% off your first month's payment and go hang out with DC and Holden and Hoop for the Up to Lock premium show, which they'll do. I think they're going to start at 5:30 and they'll talk some hoops and then transition to baseball for the last hour of the show. So get in there.
Yeah, Stevie Boynton. Stevie Boynton's with me on Dunn. I see you, Stevie Boynton.
There you go. I definitely don't like, I'm not going to target Dunn with Tampa Bay. That's for sure. I don't know if I'm going to play Dunn, but Big T makes good case for him. I'm going to say my top three pitchers. I'm going to go Ohtani. I'm going to stick with Rich Hill. I think there's upside there.
I gave that whole case, and you still come back with him?
In Big T's park. In Big T's park. No. Listen, you just made a really good case for Justin Dunn in that park. I'm going with Rich Hill, too. So
that's what I love about JSU. I lay out the whole case, Mangone, and he still comes right back and fires him in there. That's what I love about it.
I can't help it. I'm like a hard-headed guy. I got to stick to my guns. Big T tries. I'll tell you right now, Big T, no one does it better than Big T when it comes to bullying someone off of a play. I've never seen people just totally. G Rison, our boy G Rison, changed his entire core one day because Big T was making fun of him.
And he shipped because of it. He was on the winning stack because he listened.
No, I'm not saying you were right or wrong. My point is you move the needle when you really go in on people when you go at them. So I won't let them bully me.
Like when I told Mangone my Bucks weren't done after 2 games. Woo!
Yeah, but you're in trouble right now. I hope
I'm
they
still gonna lose.
Gosh, I hope they lose. I will say the spot I didn't move, Tony, was when you tried to get me to join that $1,500 entry. I stayed strong with you and DC.
Yeah, you did. You did stay strong. I give you credit for that.
I'm gonna say betting series in the NBA right now. That is the biggest, the craziest swings I've ever seen. Probably in any scenario when it comes to playoff betting these NBA series. You got we think the Clippers are an easy lock. Then Kawhi all of a sudden is done. It's what are we doing here? And then they win the game. It's just wild, the NBA. But yeah, so mine again are going to be Ohtani, Rich Hill, and I'm throwing in Marquez at 5,500. Those are my top 3 guys I'm going with today.
Yep, I'm currently on Ohtani. I like the Dunn call. I'm leaning more on that. Maybe going with the cheaper guy.
Mangone. We don't lose when we're locked on.
Shocker, Mangone agrees with Big T.
Let's go, Mangone.
Again.
To just let you know, Jason, I've been doing some strikeout props and they've been hitting very well. And in my notes on the strikeout props today for Dunn, it says his projection, right, from some of the stuff I looked at, and I looked at other things, and I wrote a note and it says over maybe, right? So I was
Let's go, Mangone.
I was saying
turn that maybe to a yes, sir.
So yeah, I thought it was definitely something to look at.
Maybe I'll play Justin Dunn and Rich Hill in one lineup just to own Big T. Oh, now we got the hacksaw call. Woo! I love it.
All right.
K-Falik is sick and bad, and he's just whining about us talking about freaking Stroman and whoever else. K-Falik, you're not on the show. You're not allowed to give takes. Get out of here.
Yeah, K-Falik, send me a head-to-head with those terrible pitchers. And I'll take
send him a head-to-head, K-Falik.
Last time you came on the show, you were making fun of me for my soccer build. So get out of here with that.
Yeah, get out of here, K-Falik.
Yeah, and you love to see what Chris Rowland says in the chat. Manning over Hill for Mangone's net worth. That's what we love to see, Chris Rowland. You love it. So he likes this Manning guy, and he's doing it over Rich Hill.
Who in the world is this Manning guy?
He's like a AAA kind of guy. I guess you can hear DC talk more about him, but he's been called up or whatever, and we'll see how he does in his appearance. I don't know if he's been up there too long, but I don't never take a shot on these younger guys. I don't know about you.
I'll say one thing. These younger guys have not fared well for the most part this year. Every time I get on one, they get just smashed.
Not our boy Bailey Ober yesterday.
He did get it done yesterday was a good day.
Yeah. He got it done.
He crushed.
All right. Big T, give me your top pitchers, and then we're going to move on to the batters here.
Okay, my top pitchers, man, like I said, I'm not crazy torn on or crazy sold on anyone, but if I had to rank them, I'm going to go Urquidy, number 1. I'm going to go Marquez 2 and Dunn 3. I know those are weird rankings because they're all cheap guys, but that's going to be the direction of my build tonight. And I don't know. I'm not saying I'm going to completely fade Musgrove and Ohtani, but I definitely lean towards going cheaper at pitcher and up for bats.
Yeah, I love the chat right there. They're talking about all these different numbers on this guy Manning, right? Oh, he's the first round pick, throws 100. I trust a lot of, there's certain pitching projections I trust, like I'm like you, Big T, and like I don't like his projection, so I'm just probably not going to play him. I think it's just plain and simple, Tony.
If there's anything I trust the projections for, it's pitcher. I mean, it just, you don't always have to just go dead on it. Like if you have a strong take, then certainly go with it. But for the most part, you should lean on those pitcher projections.
Yeah, I look at that. I look at like the lineup he's going against, the team, the weather. I calculate it all in, right? But like I start with that, and that's where I start Xing guys out, and then figuring out all those tiebreakers. So,
and sometimes if a projection just sticks off the page like it's massive, they're a lock for me to play, like just easy. But there's not one of those today that really sticks out.
All right, well, let's go on over. Let's talk about the catcher position. And catcher yesterday, I didn't like it, so I just paid up for some Buster Posey, and it worked out pretty well. Today, I don't love the catcher position that much. I don't love a lot of the options that are presented to me that are chalky, so I'm going to try and get a little different at the catcher spot. How about you, JSU? Are you going to look to get different at catcher?
Yeah, I mean, the catcher spot, I don't see one that like sticks out big time above the other, so I mean, you could obviously try and just take the catchers in cores, but like, I'm probably not going to go there. Eric Haas, if you're not playing Ohtani and want some leverage against some chalk Ohtani, I think you could play if he's in the lineup. But there's no one that really like sticks out a ton. Tom Murphy's obviously facing Hill. I like Hill, so I don't really love Seattle that much. It's probably just going to more be a stack play for me as opposed to a one-off, because I don't really like a ton of these one-offs. Grandal, you got Gary Sanchez up top, maybe, but other than those two guys, I'm probably just going to go with whoever's in my stack.
Yeah, and I think it's a good call. This Manning guy stinks anyways. This Matt Manning guy's terrible. I mean, Max Stassi's right there in the 3-hole possibly. He's going to be a catcher we look to go to, Big T. And I think it could be an Angels night. The more I keep looking at it, I think the Angels could be a great play. So what are you doing at catcher? Are you playing some Stassi or are you playing anyone else?
So a couple things. I was pretty flaky at the pitcher. I like having some conviction on my plays when I do these shows so that we don't come on here like some of these other sites and tell you to play every damn dude and every pitcher and every catcher and don't tell you anything after the hour and a half you watch us. So I'm going to take a stand at catcher. And one of my favorite plays of the day, and those of you that have watched these shows, when I first started getting hot with baseball, there was a guy that brought me home. His name is Gary the Goat. He's got 4 home runs in his last 6 games. He's facing a total scrub pitching staff. He's going off again tonight for 4,800, and he's not going to be that high owned. We're locking him in, boys. Mr. Gary the Goat is back.
All right, and it's in that good ballpark, right? Obviously, it's like a minor league park. So, Gary the Goat could definitely hit one out there. Would not be shocked at all. Don't got too much else to say. I think at the catcher position, again, look at lineups, right? That's always super important, especially when you're playing the cash games, when you're playing tournaments and you're looking to fill out your stacks or a one-off. That stuff matters a ton. So be sure to check that out. Other things to check out Rumpier Sports. If you have not, use that code RPSHeater25 to get 25% off your first payment. Again, we have everything you want here, Big T, right? We also have the Euro 25 code, 25% off, same thing. That's for the soccer, right? And you've been in those soccer streets. So talk about all the content we have over here. We don't just have baseball packages, right? We got it all, Tony.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing we do. Everything for one price. I've enjoyed the soccer this week with our boys Jaime, Rubio. They got it locked down over there. So I enjoy playing it. I don't know shit about soccer, so I like getting in there, reading their article just like anyone else, looking at the projections Rubio does, the core plays. in every sport, one price, no reason not to get on it. The bet side too. I mean, it's $100 for the whole site. Test it out for a month, 25% off that. It's only $75 for a month. You get everything. No reason not to do it. All sports though. I mean, MMA, NASCAR, freaking everything in there. Tennis, everything. It's a great deal.
All right, JSU, let's go over to the first base position. Let's talk about Vladimir Guerrero at the top, right? You get him in a great ballpark, and he's been absolutely crushing righties. Is he the guy you want to spend up on here in this spot?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, to me, he's by far the best spend, in my opinion. I know Freddie Freeman's going to get a lot of love, and I don't mind Freddie, but if I'm going up at the top, unless I'm stacking Atlanta, like I'm going to play Vlad. Like, he's my top first baseman by far, so I'm just going to go with him at the top. And then after him, you know, if Rowdy Tellez makes the lineup at 2.6K, he's cheap. Also, I don't know. Do we have a Yankees lineup out yet, man, going?
Let's see. I think we do. Yes,
We do.
it's LeMahieu, Judge, Torres, Stanton, Gary the Goat in the 5-hole, Urshela, Gardner, Andujar, and Wade.
Okay, so Gittins didn't make it in there because I saw you hit a bomb last time out. I thought of Big T right away. I didn't know if he was going to be in there again.
I didn't play him though. I was annoyed when I saw the home run. I didn't have him.
I was annoyed too because I played him the first night and then I didn't play him again that night. But yeah, so another guy you could probably go to is G-Man Choi. I know Big T doesn't like the park, but if he's in the lineup, 3.9 against Dunn, I think you could go there. Yeah, those are the three guys I'm looking at. Oh, also Jared Walsh. I mean, screw this top prospect for Detroit. I'll take some Angels and test him first game back.
All right. Yeah. We got guys that said Mango and said Manning was a AAA kind of guy. First round or 9th overall in 2016. Like, oh, who cares? Like, Big T, can you name any baseball player that was drafted in the 2016 draft? Like, that stuff doesn't matter in DFS.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't mean shit. I couldn't name who was drafted in the 2021 draft or whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, it's DFS. You learn when they come up. You figure it out. We don't have to be sitting there in the stands grinding out all these guys.
That's what's fun about daily fantasy. We don't need to know any of that shit. We only need to know.
My favorite part too make fun of you when you don't know, like, the second round draft pick from 2014, who's a top prospect for the Oregon. I mean, there's so many of these guys. Like, what? I don't even know what we're talking about. Like, I'm talking about the guys that are in the majors right now. When that guy gets called up, I'll watch him play, and we'll see what he's got. But, like, don't act like, oh, I don't know it.
Doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. When somebody ends up, like, some name I've never heard of ends up in the 3-hole for an offense I like tonight, I'll just play him. I don't give a shit if it's JSU's friggin' brother that's never played baseball or something. It doesn't matter. If they're in that 3-hole, I'm playing them.
You don't want any of my brothers.
They're in that 3-hole, I'm playing them.
You better fade them if they're in the 3-hole, because that's 4 easy Ks. I'll tell you that right now.
Tony, let's talk about a guy hitting in the 2-hole, Mr. Freddie Freeman, and the Atlanta Braves, right? Are you playing him at the first base position? Because it seems like a good day to play.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, I said I was flaky at pitcher, but I think you can play Gary and Freddie and then find a stack around those two guys. Yeah, if you like Toronto, you're going to naturally want to play Vladdy, but I think you can pivot off of Vladdy, play Freeman, and maybe stack Toronto with Gary and Freddie Freeman, and I love it. This brings me back to the days where I would just print every day playing Freddie Freeman, sending out the free money Freeman tweets, Gary the Goat, sending the Gary the Goat tweets. These guys are in great spots tonight. These are kind of the situations where I like playing one-offs, but where I'm different is I'll play them with a stack. So unlike DK, play Gary, play Freddie, play a 5-man stack or something, or even a 4-man stack, and then maybe a 2-man stack somewhere else or something. But these two guys are in incredible spots. If I don't play Free Money Freeman, though, it's almost for sure going to be one of these Toronto guys, Vladdy or Rowdy Tellez. I'm looking at the rest of the position. There's nothing there for me. I mean, sure, you could play Jared Walsh if you play the Angels, if you like the Rays basically, if you play a stack, you could play one of these guys. My point being is just play Free Money Freeman with your stack, even if one of these first basemen is in your stack. I don't even care if you're playing Toronto. Like I said, don't play Vladdy, play Freddie, and then your stack is unique because everyone that stacks Toronto is doing what? Playing Vladdy. Maybe you get that 0 for 5 game. Freddie Freeman hits 2 bombs. You're going to the winner's circle tonight, man, going with that strategy.
I like it. Definitely a good strategy. Let's move on to the second base, and let's talk about a guy hitting right behind Freeman. Let's talk about Ozzie Albies, because I think if you want to stack up the Braves in the 3-hole, he's not someone to ignore, right? Like,
he pissed me off last night.
I agree.
I had like the best team ever on both sites. I was in the top 10, both sites. In both sites, I had a damn donut from this guy just staring at me. I'm mad at you, Ozzie Albies, but the point, you can't get too mad. It's daily fantasy. I do. He's there again. You could easily put him in there, especially with Free Money Freeman. You got Simeon with Toronto, who keeps mashing. You got DJ LeMahieu, who this Yankees spot tonight is about as good as it could be. And DJ has slowly turned the corner. If you look at him, he's got 2 hits, 5 of the last 6 games, it looks like. So he's getting kind of back to that DJ that puts up numbers. You can definitely get on him. I'm looking in some of the cheaper guys. I just don't like – if you play the Yankees, you could maybe punt with a guy like Tyler Wade. That's one of the things we like to do, is do a little wraparound to save some salary. No one ever plays the 9-hole hitters. Definitely could play him. I mean, I don't know. I don't see a ton else down there, though.
All right, JC, I'll go to you. Second base, what are you doing at this position? I know you'll never play DJ LeMahieu, so I know that's not happening, but what else are you doing there?
Never. I'll never play Dusty DJ, but I will say, I mean, Marcus Simeon has been hitting the ball really well, so I obviously think he's a really good play. But no one is going to play Jose Altuve against Cease. And Jose Altuve,
no one's going to play Altuve.
No one is going to play him.
Altuve.
I bet you he's under 5%.
Oh, stop! Get out of here.
I bet you he's under 5%.
Man, go and tell him to get out of here.
No, man, go and tell me to get out of here.
I mean,
tell me, man, go, and I want to hear you say it.
I don't know if I can go out there and say it, Tony. It's hard. Like, I mean,
let's go.
Good, but who's going to attack Dylan Cease today? Are people actually going to do that?
I don't think people are going to, and Jose Altuve
it's not a 15-game slate. It's an 8-game slate, and Houston's one of the higher totals.
We have cores on this slate. Also a position where you got 2 guys, Ryan McMahon, Brandon Rogers. Rogers is cheap. McMahon, people will play because it's cores if they're in the lineup. So I don't know. I think that Semien gets more ownership. Ozzie Albies gets more ownership. Jose Altuve is going to come in at under 5%, I think, on this slate. And he is an extremely good tournament play. I don't care what Tony says about this ownership. It's a fact. All right, Tony, write it down in your notebook because it's happening tonight. Jose hits bombs.
Let's all take a guess. So JSU's guess is under 5. Tony, what's your guess? And I'll give mine.
This is what I hate because I'm so annoyed at myself for even talking about ownership, and I can't help. I do it every show, and I just can't stop doing it because we're literally arguing. Like, I'm about to argue that he's going to be like 12%, and what the hell does it matter? 5 and 12 is the same thing. I'm so annoyed with myself. I cannot break the habit. I can't break it. I'm so used to doing it.
Yeah,
I say 12.
Yeah,
though.
I mean, okay, he's not going to be 12, but it was a good try. It doesn't matter though. He's going to.
Yeah, that's the annoying part. Why do we keep doing this?
Okay, here's my point of the whole thing: is he's been one of the best hitters of late at the plate, and he's a very good tournament play here. That's my whole point by that. Outside of him, I agree. Like, there are some cheap guys you can go with your stack. Like if Panic makes the lineup, Jace Peterson's going to be in cores. I mean, I'm going to play Marquez, but if he makes the lineup, I mean, there are some guys you can go to. Ryan McMahon, it's not an ideal matchup against Woodruff, but he's got power at least in cores. So there are spots to go, but I definitely think that Jose Altuve, you guys know of late, I've been just plugging him in my line. Every lineup I make, I've just been plugging him in there. Guy's been getting it done for me. I'm going to try and go right back to him.
Yeah, well, you're not the only one. Izzy in the chat said he is going to look to go back to Altuve after he had him last night. So there's a couple guys we're all stirring him right there. If you really want to win this argument, JSU, don't put Altuve in your core plays because you know that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I should not put Altuve in my core plays just to keep the 1% that maybe uses my core plays. We'll just keep that down a little. So it's under 5%, right, Mango? It's gonna be like 4.3 now.
My guess is 7%. I'm gonna go with like the 7 or 8. I think he gets a little bit above what you say, but not above the 10. But who Tony said it doesn't matter. So we're gonna move on from this conversation. We're gonna go to the third base spot, and we can talk about Manny Machado against a lefty at the top, right? If you have the salary at 5.1, he seems like a pretty good option to go to. Tony, we'll go over to you. Third base, it's not my favorite today, but there are some options I think that we can hit on at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to play Machado, but you definitely can always go, especially against a lefty. For whatever reason, Miley just gives me nightmares. I hate playing stacks against this dude, but he just throws all these grease ball pitchers that just throw junk in there.
I mean, you can just do a Machado one-off. You don't have to stack.
I don't want to play a one-off though, Machado. Like I already gave my one-offs. I got to get back to stacking. There's no way I could play Machado over my boy Jan Moncada, who's my favorite every time against righties for cheaper. I mean, I love him if I was playing a one-off. Just looking at the rest of the position, I mean, you can always – I think like Urias for Milwaukee would get some ownership. I'm probably not going to go there. Austin Riley, if you stack Atlanta, looks good. Gio, if you stack the Yankees, I think Gio is a great play. Toro, super cheap punt play from Houston. I mean, nothing really sticks out. The big one-off for me, though, is definitely Moncada against – even though I love Urquidy, I still will always like Moncada against a righty, especially a power righty.
I mean, if you do play a stack, Tony, listen, if you play the Yankee stack, I think Gio Urshela is a good one at 4.6 that no one's going to play. So that's a good way to make your Yankee stack different. JSU, I'll go over.
The good part before JSU is a lot of these one-offs. What I like is so many teams we like 3 outfielders from. Like it happens a ton where you don't want to play all 3. Today, with a lot of these one-offs that we've talked about so far, you can find teams and play 3 outfielders and 1 other guy. Go a 2-4 one-off type team, and it works because, I mean, you look at even teams like Toronto, like they don't have all 3 of them. Oh, yeah, they do. Like Toronto, whenever I stack them, having to decide between Teoscar, Grichuk, and Gurriel is always tough. So you know what? You can play those 3 with Rowdy at first or Biggio at third, and all of a sudden you got a nice little Toronto stack that no one's going to own that type because anyone that plays Toronto is going to play Semien, Bichette, Vladdy, at least 2 of those 3. So you get a lot of options by some of these one-offs that we've talked about so far.
Yeah, I always try to slam in the outfielders, like 3 from a team. So I know people won't do that at times. So that's definitely a good strategy to make your teams different. JSU, do you do that often? And what are you doing at the third base position?
Yeah, so at third base, I mean, Kevin Biggio just quietly has been hitting really well recently. He's got 3 home runs in his last 4 starts. And I mean, I don't mind just going right to him, 3,700. So pretty cheap price tag as well. Probably hitting, a little lower in the order, but still, I don't mind him. I like the Moncada call from Big T if I'm paying up. And Gio Urshela. Yeah, those are the 3 guys that I have probably the most interest in.
All right. Well, that's third base for you. Let's move on over to the shortstop position and discuss that. Before we move on to that, I want to mention we got the premium show coming up at 5:30 with Holden, Draft Cheat, and I believe Hoop, I think it is. Is that correct, JSU?
Yes, that's correct.
That is the show we got today. So check that out at 5:30. They'll be breaking it all down for you guys, leading you up to lock, answering all your questions. So get in that Discord chat so you can answer, ask all the questions that you want and have them answered so you can get those winners in there for the slate. But let's move on over. Let's talk about the shortstop position. And I don't mind a little Timmy Anderson or a Marcus Semien at the top, Tony. Those are 2 guys that I think are definitely in play. And I know we talked about Wade Miley, right? We don't want to attack him, but Fernando Tatis is one of the best hitters in the league against a lefty. So there's some good spends at the shortstop position, Tony. Is that what you're doing here on this slate?
I mean, I'm just disappointed that you're talking about. We've been on locked arm in arm the whole day, and now you're stroking to these San Diego bats. That doesn't make me feel good, man. We've been locked
Tony,
arm in arm.
I don't want to be that guy I'm touting something I'm not playing. I'm not playing San Diego guys. I'm just picking guys at the top and saying names. That's all. So
holy shit, Tatis is $6K too. Oh my god,
he's expensive for sure.
They kept his core price. His core price.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine paying $6K for that. But yeah, he's the man. You can always play him against the lefty if you wanted to. The guy that sticks out just way above everyone else for me though is Glaber. I mean, 4,800 against this Toronto. I think the Yankees explode tonight. This Toronto starter's only going to go 2 innings or something. They're going to bring in bad guys behind him. I think the Yankees finally break a slate and just go off. So Glaber and Gary are my 2 favorites, and then obviously we already talked about the outfielders, how you can kind of filter those guys in. But Glaber sticks out. Simeon obviously sticks out anytime you play Toronto. Besides that, I mean, Lindor, you could play. Tatis, you could play. Swanson, you could play. I mean, all those guys. You can go cheaper with some of these guys. Correa, if you like Houston. But I like Glaber, so I'm going to play Glaber.
All right, Glaber, it is. JSU, how about you? What are you doing at the shortstop position? Are you going to Coors Field at all with some of these guys at short? What are you doing here?
First of all, am I missing something? When did Marcus Semien become shortstop eligible? Is this a today thing?
He's both. I don't know. They move him around throughout the season, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
Is this I think this is the first time I've at least noticed it. Maybe it's not the first time it's happened, but okay. I mean, that's nice though, because then now I can play him and Tuve in the same lineup if I want to. So that's always nice. I like Semien at short if I don't play him at second base. And I agree with Tony Glaber. I like the Yankees. I like that game in general. I like both the Yankees and Toronto. I could see myself playing a lot of those guys, stacking that game up fully. So I love both those two at shortstop. If I was gonna pay down for someone, I'd probably go down to like Dansby Swanson at 3,800.
All right. Yeah, no, all that makes a ton of sense. And I love the Semien call there, getting him in there with Altuve. I think that's a good play, JSU. I do want to say, guys, we got to hit that like button. Listen, we're already at 5 o'clock. We're going to talk some outfielders, then we're going to talk stacks, and then we'll have plays of the day if we get to 200 likes. I'm asking for 58 more, Tony. Is that too much to ask for? Is that the correct number with 380 watching, or should we go a little less?
Yeah, I mean, we got to be able to get to like 200 for sure.
All right, so let's slam that there. If not, I'm going to tell Simon to get us out of here. Very simple. So let's move.
I mean, and then there's this dude in the chat, like he just keeps talking about me being fat. Like I already said, I'm like, what are you saying? You think that like hurts my feelings, dude? Like, what do you like? I don't understand.
What are we even talking about?
Simon, the good producer that he is, was getting my back, trying to hide it from the thing. The dude just keeps typing it in there, like he just he's trying to troll. Like that.
Simon, you can also get that dude out of here. Like we don't even need that shit.
And it
that
doesn't
creates
hurt my
bad
feelings.
mojo.
Like, you got to be better. Like picking losers hurts my feelings. Like weight jokes, that doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm married. Yeah. I got 3 kids. I got plenty of things going. I could care less. What are you talking about?
Here's the thing, guys. If you want to own me or Big T or Mangone, go after us for like a take we had that was bad. Like go after me because I liked Utah -7 yesterday. And they friggin' lost.
Correct.
Like go after me for that. Don't go after man for their size or wait. You can call me short. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Like I don't give a shit if you call me short. I don't care. Yeah. People do it all the time. But like the constant over and over is just annoying. It just gets annoying.
And there's a difference too between like making a joke and just trying to like be a dick. And like it's not going to affect me. Like I don't care. You're better off just making a joke about it and trying to be funny, because then I'll laugh with you, because it is what it is. But like when you're just trying to be a dick, to just like you're trying to bother me, like it's not going to bother me. Like I'm at a freaking lake house with my family, and I mean, you're not going to bother me by calling me fat. Put it that way.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to say this is how you get on top of Tony, right? You say, hey, Tony, You know what the thing is? You back the Bucks. You're down 3-2. You can't even.
I didn't want to even. I didn't even want to say it, man. Goat. I tried not to say it. That's why I talked about myself. This is what I mean, though. Like, we will laugh with you if you make fun of us in like a fun way. Like, that's my favorite part about these shows is like you guys interacting with us and being able to like shit on each other and like make jokes and have fun. Like, that's the whole point of these shows.
You can make fun of me the entire show and I'm good with it. I like the trash talk. I like when you're just trying to be a dick though, you're just like, that's not even funny. It just doesn't even work.
Yeah. Very, very hurtful and not fun. We want to have some fun here, right? Don't ruin the show. So let's keep this moving, though. Let's talk about the outfielder position. And listen, Mr. Justin Upton's going to gain some ownership. And I don't love this Manning guy. The Angels have a good total. I know you don't love playing Justin Upton that much, Tony, but K. Falik does. Talk to me about some Justin Upton.
You got to get JSU's opinion on this one. I mean, he's the Justin Upton whisperer.
All right, we'll go to JSU then. You are a Justin Upton guy. I forgot that, but I was trying to rip on K. Falik a little bit and give Tony a chance. But talk about some Justin Upton and some outfielders, JSU.
Tony knows I just went from 6 to midnight right now. We talked up Justin Upton as someone that people are liking. Here's my problem with Justin Upton. It's the same thing I've had, Tony. Now he's 4.3K, and people are going to play him. I like playing him when he was like the sneaky one-off at 3.3K. I don't mind attacking this Manning kid, so I get it. And 4.3 is still not like super expensive. So I'm not going to say I'm not going to play him, but I like playing those. I like playing him when he's a little cheaper. We were getting him at like between 3.3 and like 3.6 for like a couple of weeks, and it was nice. Now he's starting to get a little more expensive, but I understand the play. He's been hitting really well. So I don't mind it. I'm not going to say he's like my favorite play on the slate, though. What is that? K. Falik? He's like his top play on the slate?
No, I just know he likes him. He talks about those Angels, right? Doesn't he? So.
Oh, he loves Angels. Yeah, but I do too.
I was going to just ask you, I have a Justin Upton signed baseball. Should I send it to you or send it to K. Falik? I mean, I have a ball. I mean, you guys love this guy so much. That's why I was asking.
K. Falik hates the Angels.
He's won me a lot of money.
I thought he liked him. I don't know. Maybe
he makes fun of us every time we stack the Angels. Like he gets so sad.
Oh, true.
You're right.
The Angels have owned him.
That's the shitty offense he loves to stack.
You're right, Tony. Whenever they're facing a lefty and they put that righty heavy lineup in there, Tony always just pivots right back to the Angels. He won't like them all day, and then they'll throw out this lineup with all these crazy, shitty right-handed heavy hitters. And Tony's like, my favorite, this lineup, I love it. It's so funny because Kate Falik will see the lineup before Tony, and he'll know instantly. Tony's like, oh, Tony's gonna be on the Angels.
I'm predictable. Like with baseball, if you've watched the shows for a while, you should know who I like almost every time because I play the same stuff. It's not sophisticated. Tons of splits, guys. Tons of stacks. I mean, it's all the same stuff with me.
All right. Well, JSU, finish up your outfield, and then we'll get all the big platoon guys. Who are some of the guys you like today, JSU?
Yeah, I mean, big platoon guy. We need some big platoon guys.
All rise.
So this is where we start with the man, Aaron Judge. All rise, as Tony says. Dude's going to hit a bomb tonight. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for Tony calling me up, saying all rise. And I'm just going to stand right up out of my seat, which is going to be exactly where I'm sitting right here watching the game. And I can't wait for him to hit that bomb. The Yankees outfielders, 100%. I'm going to be playing these guys at the top. I mean, there's a ton of guys at the top, and I don't want to give so many. So in the 5K range, though, I'm playing these Yankees outfielders. So those are the guys like at the top that I'm going to look at. In the 4K range, just looking here, we talked about Justin Upton. I think he's definitely in play. Teoscar Hernandez. Let's see. Tyler O'Neill has been crushing it. I could see myself looking at him a little bit at 4,100. And then, yeah, I'm probably going to end up spending down after the Yankees guys for a lot of my outfielders. So I'll get down there.
Dude in the chat. Now, that's funny stuff in the chat. That's when you make fun of us and we laugh. The Bumpster said JSU. He said rise. That's funny.
Fuck off. I love it when people come at me. Tony's like, now that's funny. I love that stuff. Now
That's because he's doing it in good fun. He's not being mean. That's good fun. We laugh at that.
No, I'll laugh at myself. But my point is Tony does thrive off
JSU
of
got
when people
shorter
make
when he
fun of
stood
me.
up. He said, "Oh God."
That's pretty
See,
good.
these are the examples of being funny.
I'm going to go hide under my desk for a second now. Tony, you can talk about outfield for a sec.
I thought you were already under your desk, JSU. I didn't realize.
Oh, fuck you, Mango.
I just piled on out of nowhere.
Rolling. I heard him. He said, "Fuck you, man," going from under the desk.
All right, Tony, I'll go to you. Give us some big platoon players. Hit us with it. You talked about the outfield, right? There's teams you can just play all three guys. Where we at?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this first game, I mean, you got the Yankees in Toronto. You got what, 4, 5, 7 outfielders that I count. I think 7 that are really good plays in that game. So I'm going to focus on that game. Just looking around besides that, you can definitely play the Houston guys, the Atlanta guys. I mean, Almonte had a big game yesterday, super cheap again. Outfield tonight for me, whoever I stack, I'm more than likely going to play 2 or 3 outfielders from that team. So I'm looking at all the different teams. Yeah, I'm just going to – it'll be Atlanta or the Toronto game. I'm probably not going to go with Houston. I like Cease too much to go with Houston, but I could see it. So – give me either the Toronto game or Atlanta's interesting to me because you can play guys that I don't think people like. No one is going to play Acuna, Almonte, and Heredia together. Like no one is going to play that combo of those 3. That's the type of build. And then you can play Freddie, obviously, and one other guy. People that stack Atlanta aren't going to have that 5. I can almost promise you that they're not going to have that 5. So I have a ton of interest in that.
Yeah, and it helps when your roster like Freddie Freeman, your roster Acuna, Heredia, and Almonte help make that work where your lineup can still be good. Like, so definitely.
I love that, actually. That might end up being one of my favorite builds tonight because, I mean, those guys, Almonte had a big game yesterday, too. He's always been one of my splits guys. Everyone makes fun of me, but against right-handed pitching, I love this guy. He's in the 4-hole for dirt cheap. He's one of the best plays of the night.
Yeah, he is definitely a good play on this slate. Listen, we got to get some more likes, 17 more, or I'm just getting us out of here. And we're going to talk stacks, and then it's either we're out of here or the play. So let's go over to you, JSU. Give me your stacks today.
Yeah, so I'm just going to group Yankees, Toronto, 1, 2. And then after those 2, I'm going to say it's tough between either going Atlanta or the Angels. I'll go with Atlanta right now. So those would be my 3: New York, Yankees, Toronto, and then Atlanta, 1, 2, 3.
All right, Big T, I'll go over to you. Talk about your favorite offenses here on this slate.
Yeah, I hate to be boring, but I'm going to go with just those 3. I'm not, as you guys know that watch the shows, I'm not going to stack any of these late games. I just don't see it with them. So I'm going the Toronto game like JSU and Atlanta. People will be like, oh, that's going to be chalky. Yeah, we talk about this every day. Those teams will be, but I will do combos that aren't going to be chalky like I already talked about. Playing guys in different spots and different combinations like the 5 Atlanta guys I talked about with Gary Sanchez and who knows, maybe some other random one-off somewhere. So those are the 3 stacks I will be on tonight, even though they're the most chalky. And we're going to play different pitching probably too. So we'll get different somewhere else. I'm going to play some chalkier bats tonight.
Yeah, and real quick before I give my stacks, Detroit Tigers 44 says, I'm winning a GPP with Manning. Book it. Yeah, of course.
I'm just going to say this. I'm going to come out and say this. As the show's gone on and the more I've looked at everything, the more I'm warming up to playing a Matt Manning team. We made fun of him. I just have looked at some of the stuff. I think he's decent, and he's 4,700. These 3 teams I want to stack have big bats. I don't like any pitchers really all that much. He's full. It reminds me of yesterday. Who's the dude we played yesterday for 4,800?
Bailey Ober.
Yeah, like if I can play Bailey Ober, I can play Matt Manning. So sign me up for 40. He's not going to be my core play.
Why can't I just play Yerman Marquez?
Why can't we play both of them with all big bats?
I mean, you can. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Get all the big boppers in there.
Well, what about your boy Justin Dunn? Because it's kind of a similar build.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I don't know really which one will fit in there, but
Right.
yeah, whoever. I'm just saying, I've warmed up to him. He's not like my favorite dude still, but just say I had the perfect team and I had to play him, I got no problem firing him up.
Listen, I'll turn the corner if DC can talk to me into it on the premium show. I like the same offense as you like, but I'll add in. I definitely don't hate the Angels here. I know Ohtani not being in the lineup is a little bit of a worry, but I'm still going to have some interest in those Angels, maybe more of a mini stack rather than the full on stack. But I mean, we're here. It's 96 likes.
I don't think
Tony.
the Angels are going to be the winner. I don't see it.
All right. Well, Tony, how about this? I'm gonna give it to you.
They're not your right-handed heavy going up.
God,
against
the lineup
lefty
looks
team.
so bad.
It does look gross, but I mean,
Oh,
the total's nice, which is the thing. But Tony,
the
we
total
need more
might
likes.
just be wrong. Like, I'm in Detroit. I'm in a place where I can legally bet. I might fire up some under on that Angels. I might just fire up the game under. And you can play both pitchers. Mangone likes Ohtani. Fire up the under and play both those guys together.
There,
I could see an under spot.
there you go. 197 likes, Tony. I'm gonna leave it up to you. Tell the producer, what are we doing? Are we giving the plays? Or are we getting on out of here?
We got to 200 right as you were saying it, so we're golden.
All right, so let's go to those plays real quick here. I'm going to go over to JSU. Give us your play of the day.
Yeah, so I talked about him, but Mr. Altuve, Jose Altuve, is just going to keep hitting bombs like he's been doing. 2 home runs yesterday. Just add another notch
Did he
on
hit
his
2
belt.
yesterday?
He did, and he was my favorite play on the slate. And talked him up on the premium show. Just keeps crushing for us.
I wish I played him over Albies. I'd have my own lake house tonight.
Oh, you couldn't watch the show though. You had no service.
It's true.
I could have talked you into them. It would have been good. I could have talked you into playing some Jose. They weren't the same price though, right, Tony?
I mean, they had to be like somewhat close. I'm sure they
Yeah.
weren't exactly, but yeah.
So I had the Bregman donut. That's who killed me. I had a really good team with Bregman donut. That was what hurt. He got hurt or something, but so yeah, Jose Altuve is going for another nice bomb today.
All right, Big T, hit us with your play of the day. Who do you got here? What are we doing? Workbench play of the day.
Yeah, I started the show with it, and I'm going to stick with it because it's Gary the GOAT tonight. And catcher, everyone wants to punt catcher, play the stack with their catcher. So Gary, he's going to be owned. I mean, he's in the 5-hole versus Toronto. Again, I got to stop talking about ownership anyways. It doesn't matter in baseball. He's going to hit a bomb tonight. He's getting hot. He's in a great matchup. Gary the GOAT is my workbench play of the night.
Yeah, you know, one thing I do, Tony, I do like to look at ownership in baseball, just 'cause obviously when I try and play guys that, like, if I look at the position, like, if catcher sucks, I'm not going to play the shitty catcher that's high owned, right? And I feel that way about third base today, right? Like, third base sucks. I don't really like it the more I've looked at it. Give me Gio Urshela, who's not really going to be that owned. You can put him in the Yankee stack. You can put him as a one-off too. And he's got some power and pop. He's going to get some bullpen arms. It's a good spot for him. So Gio is my play of the day, but we got to move on out of the way. We got coming up, we got DC, we got Hoop, and we got Holden. They're breaking it down all on the premium show for us. So for me, Mangone, Big T, and JSU, we will see you guys later.